Hey everyone, this week I want to go over the basics of wave management and the strengths and weaknesses of each wave position. I see a lot of basic wave management questions on Reddit where people don't even know where to start. My goal is for this video to be a general overview and starting point, which I felt other videos lacked. This information is broad enough to be applicable to every single lane. I have also provided a summary table at the end of this video for all pros and cons for all discussed wave positions. So to start, there are three basic patterns that any given wave will be doing. The first pattern is a freeze. This means that it is stagnant and not pushing toward or against you. The second pattern is a push toward the enemy. This means that your wave is larger and the minions are advancing toward the enemy's side. The third pattern is a push against you. This means that your wave is smaller and the minions are advancing toward your side. There are also three parts of the lane the wave could be in. For the purposes of this video, I'll use the bot lane, but again, each lane can be divided similarly. This is from the perspective of the blue side. Section A is the area right in front of your turret. Section B is the middle of the lane, and Section C is the area right in front of the enemy turret. Now for each of these patterns discussed prior, let's examine their strengths and weaknesses at these three sections of the lane. If a wave is frozen at Section A, you intend to farm. There is minimal threat of a gank since you are safe under your turret, and a dive is difficult to initiate. Your enemies can't freely poke you and they must walk up the lane, making them vulnerable to ganks. The downside is that you lose river and lane bush priority. The enemies have the inside track to the river in case of any skirmishes between junglers. If a wave is pushing toward them at Section A, you should look for trades and fights freely. You have all the upsides of a frozen wave. The downside here is that you likely don't have river or lane bush control, so when this pushes up, you are in danger until you regain that vision control. Finally, if a wave is pushing toward you at Section A, you are likely in trouble. The only upside here is that you are able to get experience and potentially some CS against a stronger opponent. The downsides are that you are in danger of a dive, getting poked when going for CS, and getting damage done to your tower. You also don't have any river or lane vision control. In most cases, you want to try and avoid this scenario if possible. Moving on to Section B. If a wave is frozen at Section B, you and your opponents are on equal footing. If a wave is pushing toward them at Section B, you can look for trades onto your opponents. You also have more river control, albeit not absolute. However, you are at risk of a gank. You do have some safety of the wave which could help you fight back. If a wave is pushing toward you at Section B, you'll want to thin out the wave as much as possible. You are disadvantaged for any trades and have less control over the river. Now moving on to Section C. If a wave is frozen at Section C, you should look to push it all the way in. You have complete river and lane control, but are at the highest risk of a gank. It is hard to use the river and lane control without fully pushing the minions in and roaming or diving, so every second you are in a frozen position at Section C, you are accomplishing little and putting yourself at risk. If a wave is pushing toward them at Section C, you can look for trades and poke on your opponents. You have full control of the river and lane. Unfortunately, you are in big danger of a gank, but have the minion wave to help you to some extent. You probably can't run if you're getting ganked here, so you'll have to be able to 2v3 them with the wave. Finally, if a wave is pushing against you at Section C, you should really be careful walking up. You temporarily still have control over the lane and river, but will lose trades or fights and are in danger of a gank. Now, keeping in mind your pros and cons, think about how the entire map also looks. Where is your jungler? How much vision do you have? Where is the enemy jungler? Does your top laner have TP? Does the enemy top laner have TP? Stuff like that. And that will all help you decide which one of these positions is most favorable to you at the time. Remember that the bigger the wave, the more accentuated each pro or con is for each position. This is again just a general overview, but here's a table summarizing what we talked about in this video. If you like this content and want to see more analytical type stuff, please subscribe to my channel. I also stream on Twitch a couple times a week, so please check that out in the description below. Thanks for watching.